What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award. What's that? What's that thing you do?
I say hello while you are introducing yourself.
All right, okay. Like you almost seem like you should have maracas in your hand. And
I'll do the theme song for us later.
there you go. There you go. It's Dr. Vibe, your host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Ryan Knight's in the house.
Hey, good to see you, brother.
Last time
to be here.
Last time I saw you were stuffing oxtail in your mouth.
That is not true. It was actually Basa from Frontlines.
Yeah. Oh, yes. but I know you so much for oxtail.
Yeah. Well, they weren't preparing it, so we have to get that onto their menu. And shout out to everybody that enjoyed the amazing restaurants during By Black's Restaurant Week, and to the restaurants themselves. I know I got to talk to people that were at the restaurants, and some of the restaurant owners loved the extra, I'll say, attention, loved getting to go as a group with Dr. Vibe and Roger Dundas from By Blacks, and getting to see other owners supporting other restaurateurs. Like Tamara from Classic Juice, we got to see her when we went to Stacy's. And so, yeah, it's just, I love the vibe of Restaurant Week. So looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, it was really good having and all those restaurants there, and even some of them having a chance to speak with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was really, really nice. And again, such an incredible event. And looking forward to next year. As I was saying with our two new friends that are coming on the show today before, I said, oh, man, I wish Roger had the time to do it twice a year. But they can't do it anymore. There's too much great stuff going on with the Dundas Assembly and By Blacks to do it on their own. So whenever it's a sunny day at this time of year, I'm thinking car cleaning.
Yeah. And for those that are getting sick and tired of looking around their car and seeing it just accumulate too much dirt, Detailing Nights is here. And for those that may have forgotten, so my name is Ryan Knight, one of the founders of Detailing Nights. So we do mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars on the spot without water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And I'm also one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, ACBN Canada. We support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And yeah, when the sun is out, it's go time. Over the weekend, it was nice with sprinkles of just, nice showers.
Sprinkles. I was driving.
Saturday was sprinkles. Saturday was.
Forget sprinkles. I had downpours. I was driving back from Oshawa to Scarborough, and once it was downpour weather. Wow. We had downpour weather.
But I was on the other side, closer to Hamilton, so I guess out there didn't get hit as much as.
We got a downpour, but. As I look at my weather app today, it's supposed to be 19 degrees, sunny with cloudy period. So it sounds like a Detailing Nights day.
Yes. And even in the next couple of weeks, we have a few car wash fundraisers happening. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be posting where you can support. I know one's happening in Brampton, and another one in Whitby. So those are always fun days to just. I would say relaxing. It's relaxing for the people getting their cars clean, but for our team, it is probably the most pressure day because cars are just flowing through.
Nice. What are one or two things you've learned about yourself since the appearance on Dragon's Den?
The biggest thing that I keep coming back to is how humbling it is for myself as a business owner when you get connected to like your future self. So being able to meet Brian Scudamore, and he's from 1-800 Got Junk, for those that didn't see the Dragons Den episode. So now he's into franchising. I've been thinking of franchising Detailing Nights. He has, I think over 1,000 trucks on the road across the world. I have like 3 areas, 3 locations. We're working on our first franchise. So now you're seeing what the future could look like. And then it's very humbling because you realize what it's going to take to get there. And so a lot of learning, like the skills that I have to learn to now shift from selling the detailing service to now selling the detailing.
Right. Yes.
And you're managing the people that are now operating the areas. So it's shifting from being, I would say, owner operator, detailing and kind of the small logistics to that next level, that next milestone. So knowing that I started talking to like leadership coach, reading different books about that kind of level of management. And yeah, so you have to be able to realize you don't know everything, because you get to certain points where you kind of, I won't say plateau, but you feel like, okay, I'm in a groove. I think I know what I'm doing. And then you bump into somebody that's like, yeah, you're at the beginning, man. Like, it's always getting back to like that infancy of wanting to learn more. And so that's what I've learned the most.
I think one of my friends would call you a Padawan. You're
okay.
A Padawan. You're a Padawan. But so reading. So what's one of the books you've read in the last few months that have been helpful for you?
I was reading, oh my gosh, the CEO book from the gentleman from CEO.
Oh, John Wilson.
Yes.
Oh, wow. You're kidding
it was
me.
right beside me. How CEOs win or what?
Oh my! Oh, you were reading
his
that?
book. I've been reading that. And Traction. Traction's been a big book because we're using Traction, and that's by Gino Wickman, to now structure a lot of the operations in the business, and more so like the meeting cadences to say like, okay, with your internal leadership team, how often are you meeting? What are you talking about? And then when you meet again, it's like it's so, really great at taking that next step.
A number of things. So first things first, one of the things that I don't get upset. One of the things that's bothering me lately is when I'm watching stuff on YouTube, there are ads at different segments. Did you do this to me? 1-800 junk ads are on all my YouTube things.
Oh yeah.
I'm going, Brian, I like you, but not this so much. But he's been really going at it in the ads for YouTube.
Yeah.
Second of all, John Wilson, the book is called How Great CEOs Are Made.
Right. Yes.
And it's ironic because I was at one of his events a few weeks ago, and the event before that, and I always like to say thank you to him, and I hadn't said it. So I went early to his event, and we spent 15 minutes. Said, John, I feel really bad. I haven't said thank you. This is, said, John, so cool, Dr. Vi, that's okay. You're welcome here, and we got to catch up. But you and I should talk. There's so much stuff that I've been getting from their events to just next level. And actually, there's one of the gentlemen who now I and another person are meeting about every month, who's giving us leadership and suggestions. And he used to be a vice president for Volvo International.
Okay. Oh, and he wants to meet like more regularly.
Well, it's funny. He is now doing consulting. So he's giving us suggestions, and he's asked, and there's actually another show in the making that I'm going to be co-producing with someone. And we're going to be talking with some of the people we've met who are influential and have great advice about leadership. And he said, what can we do for you? And he said, well, you could get my brand out more. I said, well, we're thinking about starting a new show. We'd love you to be our first guest. So I'd love it. I'd love it. Nice. I'd love it. But the suggestions that he's been giving have been, we got to talk offline, because the last thing he did with us, I just went, wow. I just like after it, I said, you know what? I had to sit for about 2 or 3 minutes and just say, you know what? This is next level, but he wants to meet at least every month.
And have you started to think of what's the main component in your business that you feel you're missing in order to take that next jump?
Yeah, it was so. I'll do a 60-second. That there, I'm in an organization, one of the organizations I'm part of. I was on a meeting in recently, and I asked a question about the other person in the organization, and I got a response. I went, "Oh, okay,"
Mhm.
and I just a total left field. So I asked him, like, how do I handle someone like that? He says, you know what? Ask them what the goal is, and then ask them how can you help put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
And I loved that term,
Gotcha.
putting the puck in the net. I just
Yes,
wanted,
yes.
and he says, when you have, I say, and I'm asking you to have that conversation with him in the next week, and I want you to report back to me how it went.
Right.
When I'm getting that sort of mentorship,
That's huge.
I ain't a guy, Volvo International.
That's huge. I love that.
You know, and he said he never, when he was with Volvo, he never went, whenever anyone showed him a chart, if it didn't have targets on it, he didn't look at it.
Whoa. Yes, you see?
He didn't look at it. So it's all good, but it's good to have you.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to the Brampton Board of Trade. They had their Business Excellence Awards last Thursday. And so a colleague of ours, Chris Beth Cowie from Empowered for X, she was nominated in the Emerging Entrepreneur category. Unfortunately, didn't win, but I was there to support and definitely see the other businesses that Brampton is spotlighting. And there was a wonderful one, and the name of it is going to escape me, but I have their bag. So they printed all the swag bags for the company or for the event. And they work with special needs, I think, not just youth, but special needs people in the community to run their business and help them get jobs doing the promotional printing. And oh my gosh. It's all right. I took a picture of them. Actually, I'll pull it up later. But yeah, great to meet them. And yeah, Jack Parr who's the CEO of Brampton Board of Trade, want to send a shout out to him because I'm on the board for the Mississauga Board of Trade. So we were talking about how to interconnect and do more events together beyond like the state of the region, kind of more, I don't want to say stuffy event, but that's more like, political driven. But yeah.
Oh, actually, one other thing, and I know you already do it probably, but one other thing that I've mentioned in previous shows, there was a gentleman, one of the people who did a presentation at the last CEO Global Network event. He's an economic or political strategist. He said, how many businesses have had contact with their MP and MPP in the last year? And in a room, I've mentioned before, in a room of 300 plus people, only like 10 people put their hand up.
You see that? And they're there to meet with, and they should know what you're working on.
Well, not only that, he said, how much business does government do?
Yes.
So you want to have yourself top of mind. If there's an opportunity that they need help with, or they need one of their fellow parliamentarians to help with, they may think of you first. All right.
Wait, and so the company is called SBS Collective Co. What if your next corporate gift changed someone's future? So shout out to them.
Nice. All right. Well, we're going to go to break. There's a number of people already in here, so we're going to shout you out in just a moment. But we'll be back in 30 seconds because we have two new friends talking about a very important story. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Case Staggers and Laura Lala Key are in the house. What is up?
The thing that Democrats should take away from the loss isn't what Harris did wrong so much, so it's what they did wrong.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we are the ones who are going to have to save our own selves. Don't be looking for some white man to come and save you.
The people who created the phrase "stay woke" are like woke ideology. We would have never put those together. And then what is that ideology? Oh, you mean differences? Oh, you mean people who aren't like you?
There we go. Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key. You can check them every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala, where two Black women try to make sense of the nonsense that's going on in America. I love that tagline. Yes. All right, let's get to it. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We're getting closer to 1,820 family. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you're up to it, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join our Discord group. You can email me at dr@vibeshow.com or click on the link that you see there to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I'm a part of. Email me, dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. And cannot forget, Indie Soup TV. What's Indie Soup TV? It's an independent content creators channel on YouTube that is run by our good friend Dr. Tachi in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In 14 months, almost 30,000 subscribers.
Amazing.
On their YouTube channel. We're featured. A lot of the shows on this platform are featured there. And realize only 4% of all YouTube channels have even over 10,000 subscribers.
Gotcha.
There we go. And let's do our shout outs before we get 2 new friends here. The Food Plane says, good morning, Dr. Vibe and Ryan. DS here. DS, we need your food. When you coming up to Toronto? The food, he also says it's Memorial Day here in the U.S. Does Canada have a Memorial Day? Just curious. Frequency of Event Promotion says, hello, Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight. Matt Dovey says, we have Remembrance Day in Canada on November 11th. There we go. And Food Plane says, oh, nice, Matt. Thank you. And Paul Osborne is in the house. Of Black Men Can, one of my co-hosts for Black Men Can Talk. We had a great conversation last night. You can check out that show, 8 p.m. Sunday evenings, Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. All right. So we have 2 new friends. And Ryan hasn't spoken to this gentleman for a long time. And he also has one of his writers with him. And I had spoke to him a few months ago. I said, you know what? I got to reach out to this guy. And we had a long conversation while I was on my way to have fish with Ryan and Roger that day. But there is a wonderful platform called the Daily Scrum. Have you ever heard of it, people? I bet you haven't. So you're going to find out about it today. And they also have written a really great story. So let's bring up Donovan Martin and Emma Sada from the Daily Scrum News. What is up, family?
Hello, fam.
What's going on?
Thank you.
I'm just happy to be invited to the party. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. And before we get to the story you've written, as Queen Latifah says, ladies first. Emma, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Sure can. First of all, thank you again for having me on. Emma Ansah. I am a media journalist for the African Diaspora News Channel located in Houston. I'm a Canadian contributor, and it's founded by Philip Scott. Shout out to Philip Scott. He's amazing. We have journalists from Nigeria, South Africa. We've got journalists from Kenya, and then I'm in Canada. And we cover the news across the entire diaspora. We expose anti-Black racism, one story at a time. And we have just over 1.89 million subscribers on that channel. We're doing wonderful things there. I'm also a media journalist for Emancipation Media, also founded by Philip Scott. And we cover things that go on within our community, including anti-Black racism in the United States. So we're covering just America on that platform. I am also a journalist for the Daily Scrum News. Shout out to our fearless leader here, Donovan Martin, who is amazing. Happy to be a part of that platform. I have my own YouTube channel. It's called Emma Ansah Unfiltered, where I cover pretty much everything that goes on in our community. I feature Black-owned businesses, restaurants, whatever. I'm just happy to celebrate Black joy and all things Black. And you name it, I cover it. And I'm also the signing officer and director of finance for Black People United for Change, founded by Vanessa St. Louis. Shout out to Vanessa St. Louis. And we are out here trying to fight for the rights of our people. We recently had a peaceful demonstration at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. We submitted a petition asking for anti-Black hate law to be implemented in Ontario. That was read by MPP Kristen Wong Tam, And we were invited to the reading, and the petition was submitted. Of course, they said no. We knew that would happen. So our next step is we're going to the House of Commons, and we already have a sponsor there that's willing to read the petition for us there. So we do have a petition out, and we're asking for signatures. We have to get 500 signatures in order to get into the House. So we do have that circulating as well. And I could go on and on, but I'll stop.
Well, my goodness, like my first question is, when do you sleep?
You know, I really do make a conscious effort to make sure that I shut everything down.
When?
At about 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And then I decompress by binge watching my favorite shows and stuff like that, so I can completely shut out of everything that I'm covering on a daily basis. So yes, I do find time for rest. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Can we ask what's on the the television tube right now? What's a show that we can binge? What do you recommend?
Well, I'm an action junkie.
Oh.
So I love things that have a lot of fast cars, fighting, explosive things, you know, and sometimes I'll go back and watch old things. Like one of my favorite TV shows is 24.
Oh, talk to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay.
Hold on a second. The first 3 seasons?
Up to 3 seasons. Yes.
Look,
that's where I stopped.
You know what? I have the first 3 seasons on DVD.
I have the CDs. Okay, I got the CDs.
24.
The best.
Yeah.
The best. And you know what? I came across it on Prime, and I was like, oh, stop. All nice. 9 seasons. And I've been binge watching. I'm just like, okay, you can tell it's a bit dated when you see like a flip phone and, you know, the old box computer, but I'm still enjoying it.
Yes.
Because if you think about it.
Let me just do this.
Think about it, right? This show started over, 20 years ago? But back then, they were already forward thinking. They had a Black president. They had a female president at one point. Like, they were just like, so when I watch it back, I'm like, they were literally like, it was a foreshadowing.
Right.
You know?
All I got to say is, you know, right? Remember that character?
This is me while I'm watching.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, Emma, we've got to have you on your own because you have so much stuff going on. But I'm going, Mr. Martin, do you want to follow that up? Can we share a little bit about yourself? And he's on mute. Mr. Martin, take yourself off mute.
Yeah, no, thank you.
There we go. All right.
It's tough to follow Emma. She's
she's
absolutely fantastic in all honesty, and just the work she's been doing over the years before we've had the opportunity to have her work with us. So we're actually quite blessed to have her contributing in a very amazing effort. So we really are blessed. A little about myself. I started the platform in 2018, right after I left the federal government. So I was with the federal government for some time. And through the platform, our goal was to, how do we report the news and keep it positive? And one of our main pillars was to never, ever say anything negative about the Black community. And, you know, over 10,000 stories later, we've done that.
Wow.
So we've grown to around, I think, 140 writers right now globally on the platform. We try our best to keep it very positive. However, the last few years, we've really had to sharpen up our pencils just because we got to the point where we were consistently combating misinformation. So that we had to do a bit of shift to say, okay, there's an abundance of misinformation circulating by our politicians, other news media. So we try to combat that in the best way we can. So we've found ourselves over the last little bit, again, heavily focused on, issues pertaining to Africa. Right now, what's going on there with the Sahel states. So we're really covering that. We're taking a lot off the history of colonialism. We write a lot of deep, in-depth pieces that let people want to really think about what's going on in society. And we do it unapologetically. There's just so much we can do that's not being done right now. And so we try to keep the focus on that aspect. Our platform, we were the first news organization in North America, and I'll repeat that, the very first to introduce digital synthetic AI. So we were years ahead of the curve, and we've had the opportunity, when we spoke with Ryan many years ago, who's also been a fantastic contributor to our organization through ACVN. And when we first said, this is what we're doing, I believe we are a few years of the curve. He was like, wow. And now digital AI is now, oh, wow, everybody has it. So we have another surprise that we're going to roll out in a little bit on the AI side, which will, again, put us maybe, I think, 3-4 years ahead of everybody right now. So the platform, to keep it simple, we try to make it very clean. One of the things you'll notice, there is no ads inside articles. There are no pop-ups. There are no banners, with exception to something discreet on the side. And the reason we did that was our focus was always user engagement. And we've had a lot of test groups and a lot of just people review it, and we're always updating it to make sure we're in line with what's best for our readers. And we've come under a lot of fire from a lot of the big news organizations for not adhering to the same trope when you're covering certain countries. And so, but we soldier on, and our goal is to continue to do the best we can and put out factual information and represent our community. We have quite a large monthly viewership, and we're happy with what we're doing, but we're striving for more. And I have to plug one story. Emma wrote back in December, which was about Jingle Bells. And I believe that story alone trended on Google for quite some time, with well over 100,000 reads and impressions. So very, very happy moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we get to what we're going to chat about today, how did you two cross paths?
We met each other at the TIFF International Film Festival last year.
Yeah, I was working at the Africa Hub.
Yeah.
So I was working at the Africa Hub. So I work with another one of my many conquests. Yeah, I work with a company called African Women Acting. And every year we work at the Africa Hub, where we feature African women in film and we celebrate them. So we have screenings, we conduct panels with directors and filmmakers, all African. And that's where I met Donovan. So we had, I think it was maybe a 5-minute conversation. We took a couple of pictures together, and then the rest is history. And then we worked husband and wife.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, this is good. This is good. Well, today we're going to be chatting about one of the many stories on the platform, but the name of the story is called Black Children and Canadians Are Disappearing, and Still Not a National Emergency. Before we went on live, you said you had about an hour. I don't want to take up your time. So if you're good for some more, great. If not,
oh, I'm totally good for some more. This is a very important work. So I'm good. I will go for as long as you will have.
Okay, because I got a lot of conversation pieces, and also the audience is right into it. Frequency event promotions has, as for the second question, what would the GoFundMe fund serve exactly? I'm curious.
So it serves a few things. Number one, we'd be able to, let's talk strictly about the database. To build the database, we have to have people in place that can actually build that database, because it's going to be a lot of AI driven. Number two, it allows us to expand the website and platform and create the housing for it. And number three, around the clock writers. We need people to continue to gather data, to write the stories, and just dedicate every day to making sure we're not just posting on social media, and we're not just writing one article. There's so much, and so a lot of it is the labor intensive part of it, because we can't just do it halfway and just say, okay, we're just going to continue to keep posting our banners and showing on social media, and just more interviews. But gathering data and information is a massive undertaking, and we need people to be able to do that on a full-time basis, right? So, and again, whatever other things come along with it. So those are our main key focus right now, is with what a GoFundMe will help with.
Okay. Frequency of event promotions has hashtag funding Olympics. I love that. Bubble says Black People United for Change is a nonprofit. I'm ready, right, Emma?
Oh, we stay ready.
It's all good. And Fitness IQ Camp says, morning, everyone. Oh, dear, I'm late. You are. It's okay. It's okay. And Bubble says, Dr. Vibe, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here. All right. I want to just do a little bit of a reset. We are speaking with, we had it up here, with Donovan and Emma from the Daily Scrum News about this important topic. Black children and Canadians are disappearing and still not a national emergency. So I've got some more conversation pieces. So what I have here is, why do you think there's been such a silence or lack of coordinated response from officials who have the power to make change?
Emma?
Oh, well, it goes back to what I had said, which is, this narrative about Black people who go missing, which is you're either running away from a bad situation or you're up to no good. Even the ones who are being lured, I always question, okay, so how do we justify that? If a father, who, by the way, was at one of these town halls, so it came out of his own mouth saying that his son went missing for 10 months, but he didn't come from a broken household. Okay, he was just on his way to basketball practice, and he ended up in a trap house in Aurelia. So in my initial report, I asked, what are the police doing? And what I meant by that is this particular category where they say they're being lured, what are we doing about that? How are we addressing that? And more importantly, the amount of Black people that go missing as opposed to other races of people it's not even close. Like, it's way more than 50%. So if the tables were turned and it was non-Black people that were missing, would that have been the same response? Would that energy have been the same? Would it not have been, we have a problem? Like what we are saying as Black people, as journalists, we've identified an issue here. I'm still confused as to why this is not being taken more seriously. It still baffles my mind. As far as why I think it is, I just think it's because there's this false narrative and there's a lack of belief or concern because of how it is spun in our community.
To add to, Emma, I think you're 100% correct. To add to that, it has to come down to what our elected officials say and do. And here's the absolute perfect example. When February rolls around, it's Black History Month. From the, and again, I'm only speaking from my experience in the federal government. What happens is there is a person, actually there's a team in the federal government. Their only job is to figure out every single event, historical, current, or upcoming, that is happening in every ethnic community. And their job is to say to every MP, make sure you are out in that community on this date at this time to get pictures, to get photo ops, to live stream, to post on social media, to say you are in the community. So that is, and advertise in their local papers, that is their job. When it comes to Black History Month, that is amplified, right? Make sure you spend at least 1 hour, or if it's a 30-day event, we want to see you there at least for one event to show that you are part of the community and you care. Now, what we did was every year we would reach out to the Congressional Black Caucus in Canada to say, let's work with you to highlight a member of the Black community every day. We had one response since 2018 from the National Black Caucus, including at the time the Speaker of the House. Now, essentially, the response is, well, you know, Heritage Canada does something with Black History Month, so we're good. So we said, well, we want to take that even further to make Black history not just a month in February, make it 365 days a year. So at one point we were covering some positive aspect of contributor to the Black community every day. But then again, it becomes labor intensive. And not out of every Black member of Parliament, MPP and MP, mayor and city councillor, only one said this is a good idea from the federal level, and that was in Toronto, and one in Manitoba from the provincial level. The other was, well, can't bother, or it's not important, or just don't respond. So if the people we are putting in place with the resources and the voices to the decision makers don't make something as simple as this as a priority, then a database or missing and murdered Black children will never be a priority, because it has to come from the top. And with something like that, becomes inquiries, becomes more funding to more organization. So that is where we're at with this. And that's why it's not a national issue, because there's not enough people beating the drums saying we need to make this a priority. And even for the ones who are doing it, the people who are in charge aren't making it a priority. And it's even going to be harder because we only have one elected representative in cabinet in the current administration at the federal level.
And I know you may have both talked about this, but what do you feel is holding Black officials back from supporting an initiative like this?
Well, again, it becomes a priority. it's not in a place where it's affecting their electoral status. If it was in a position where we could say this specific region has X amount of voting members, where we could collectively say, if you are not making this a priority, we are not voting for you, then it becomes an issue. Now, because we've just had an election, this is not going to, I'm very, very optimistic. However, when it comes to how government operates, to say this is going to be a national issue and a priority for the next 4 years, it is hard to say. It's very hard to say.
All right. I also want to ask, you highlight the absence of reliable federal data and a national database. What impact does this data gap have on the ability to address this crisis?
Emma, do you want to take this?
Well, Donovan, you take this first, and then I will wrap up.
Well, the impact is quite simple. Without lack of proper information, we are essentially left in the blind. We don't know where the danger zones are. We don't know how to address this. We can't see the real patterns. We can't put in place resources. We can't put in place systems, right? So where I am in Winnipeg, we have the largest homicide rates in all of Canada. And through parts of the police database, you could see where things are happening, right? And tracks everything. However, the database doesn't go enough to give patterns of why things are happening, right? So with what we're trying to do, we're trying to elevate and give real statistical patterns, create algorithms, create models, so we could start understanding of why things are happening. It's one thing it is to just enter information and say data, right? But what do we do with that information when we have it? Because if it was effective what the police are doing, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because they have more statistical and historical data than any of us, right? So now, what are they doing with it? And if they have something they want to do with it, then they clearly don't have the resources. Or if they are doing something with it, it clearly is not working, especially if there's really only two statistical categories where they're formulating why, or hypothesizing why Black Canadians are missing.
And there have been some police officers and other people that have said that the people that have gone missing so far, sometimes the parents, there's an element of shame with the parents and their reluctance to, really say what's going on. And oftentimes they don't even want to report that their child is missing, because there's also an element of trust that they don't have as well, especially if they are under that category of the one parent household where you have just the one mom. And there was a mother at one of the town halls who straight up said, I don't trust you all, because when I called you to tell you that my son was missing, they came in hot and they were ready to arrest her. So wow. That is also problematic. And I will also say, when I did the initial report, I did hear from two family members. One mom told me to take her son's picture off the report because he was back home. So He was back home, and then she said, the police put the cross sections of where we live, and this will be a problem for my child's safety. So again, it's like, what does that mean? What are we not knowing here? And there was another uncle who said, my nephew's not missing, he's on the run, so please take his picture down. So we had a conversation where I was saying, well, listen, when we saw missing, we immediately thought, okay, he's been kidnapped, he's been abducted, something's going on. And he said, well, that's not the case now. So you have sometimes family members that are also saying, I don't want to share this information. I want it gone from the system. So there's a gap there as well within our community. So I always say, I don't expect the police to raise our children. I don't expect them to do other than what they are tasked to do, which is another day at the office, another Black person missing. Let's find them, let's get them home, and let's move on. So to Donovan's point, if we don't have any real data and we're only hearing these two things, but in between we're seeing those two categories don't really add up to other people that have gone missing. And then you have family members that don't really want to talk, don't trust the police, element of shame. There's so many moving parts. There's even one parent whose son keeps running away, keeps getting into bad things. And the last time they caught him, he was put in juvie, and she literally asked them to leave him there because she said, at least now I know where he is. So there's a lot of information in between that we just are not privy to. And that's why I feel like what Donovan is doing is crucial to our community. If we can get people to invest in this, I guarantee you they will be very pleased with the information that's put out that we don't know about, and the data that we'll be able to manifest and put out for our community, for people to know. And also there'll be an element of trust that we are offering to parents, to family members, that they don't have right now. And we also will be able to eliminate that shame, so that's what I have to say. If you have 6 more weeks, I can keep going.
Okay. All right. Comment from Frequency Event Promotion says, great conversation. Keep being a voice for those who seem to be voiceless. Bubble says, that is it, sir. Not enough support within. Black politicians fear losing their seats. When 11 individuals attend a peaceful demonstration, something is wrong. When every Black MP ignores. A question for you both, and I'm just continue about the data thing. How does the lack of data contribute to the erasure and invisibility of Black Canadians who go missing?
Wow, that's a good question.
Loaded question, yes.
Well, wow. Let me think on that for a second here.
And I'll just say, I'm at the risk of sounding like a broken record again, is, the lack of data affects everything, because when we're relying on law enforcement to tell us this is what it is, and I'm not suggesting they're lying, I'm not, trying to reduce their credibility by any means. I'm just saying, when we're only told these two things, that doesn't help. It doesn't help. We in the fabric of our being know that there's more to it. And I know just from talking to parents that have gone through this situation, and it's not falling in those categories. So that is a problem, because we're not getting the full picture, and that is impactful. And like I said before, that creates that narrative that, they're just up to no good. Like, they'll come home eventually. Sometimes you see the same person missing over and over and over again. And I've seen that as well. So they may fall in that category. but you also have a very sophisticated organization that does lure young people, and they target specific people. For example, I have my nephews, or my husband's nephews, I call them my nephews as well, go to a park in Brampton to play basketball every day. And there's a man who approaches these kids in the park, and he says things like, I'm starting a basketball camp. Let me take you shopping and get you some running shoes. And I want to invite you to church. And that to me falls under a very suspicious situation here, because first of all, why are you in a park? Why are you in a park scoping out teenagers and saying that, sweetening the pot by saying, I'm going to buy you things? And that's one of the things that they do. And sometimes you have a mother and a married couple that approach these young people and say they're starting something and they're going to take them shopping and buy them things. And then they'll have 2 or 3 in their back seat, and then they'll, pull up and take another one. And that young person will see these other young people in the back seat and feel safe to jump in as well. And so there's a sophisticated organization. Again, we don't know about it. So these are the kinds of statistics that we need to be able to report on, so that our community is equipped, educated. We can create resources for them, educational material to tell your son what to do in these situations, all of these kinds of things. It impacts us by not knowing and not having that data. So I go back to the importance of building this database within the Daily Scrum News.
Donovan, you've had some time to think.
Yeah, you know what? I echo everything Emma says. When it comes to the notion of having erasure in our community, it's a very ominous thought. It's bad enough our voices are marginalized to some extent, and anything we can do to prevent that from happening, we have to take every opportunity to do so. When a voice from our community goes missing, in 2 things. If it's a young voice, we will never get that opportunity to see their potential, and what they would have done, or how they would have changed the world. When it's somebody who is older and has had the opportunity to live life, we are deprived of the chance to learn and acquire knowledge and have them transfer. So the idea of erasure is significant, and that's why I had to take a chance to really think about that. It's actually quite a depressing thing, actually. So anything we can do to alleviate that, or limit that, is something we have to do.
Okay, good stuff. Dr. Tachi comments that this situation is just terrible. Hayden Morrison says, is the real issue that the authorities simply don't care that Black people are going missing?
I'm going to try to be optimistic, saying that I do believe authorities genuinely do care. Now, the amount of care, I also have to say, is limited to resources, because there are a lot of authorities who are doing a good job trying to address this issue with what they have. But it would be naive of me to say there are some that could care less, right? But in general, I like to think that the vast majorities of authorities care, or if this was mandated from a federal or provincial or a municipal level, they may not care, but they would have to oblige.
Yeah, I agree with Donovan. I think in any profession, you always have good and bad, right? So, there's always going to be some that are just desensitized and, may not treat it with the same level of urgency. But I think for the most part they do, and I believe they do actually have a missing person unit now within the 51 or 52 division, where that's really all that they do. So I do believe when somebody goes missing, they absolutely, for the most part, do take it seriously. It's just that it's those statistics that they keep spinning that, to me personally, I believe there's more involved than that. And that to me is what kind of creates this false narrative that in people's minds, where then it's sort of a domino effect where people are just like, if that's all it is, I'm not really really taking it too seriously. And then there is a police officer that I do talk to, and he told me that there are a lot of these young Black boys that are really up to no good. And this is a Black man, a Black police officer saying that. But at the same time, they still do their job, which is why I say I don't expect them to do the rest. They do their job by going and finding them and getting them back home. The rest is not up to them to do, like what happens when they walk back through the door. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. I do think for the most part they do, but to Donovan's point, it would be really, really, naive of me to think that there aren't some that are just like.
Okay. So how does this issue tie into broader systemic problems facing Black Canadians, such as representation, funding, and public policy?
So that was something that you already spoke on, Donovan. Yeah. So maybe you can just reiterate.
Yeah, you know what? Again, the funding, when it comes to funding, not just Black organization, the funding model in general in Canada is not only fundamentally, it's systematically broken. It's not designed to actually help. The funding model is designed to elevate the government and politicians at the most opportune time. So it's a terrible system. We've written about it so many times, and it's just terrible.
All right. So you've told us what you hope the impact of this article in your ongoing campaign. So my last conversation piece would be, if you could speak directly to government leaders, what would your message be?
Number one, change how you engage with the Black community. Make us a priority, because you are elected because a lot of us voted for you. And even if we didn't vote for you, we should still be a priority. Because at the end of the day, we are still a large diaspora. We're committed to good governance. We're contributing to the tax system. And we just want to be treated equally. We don't feel that we have to beg to ask to be safe. We don't feel that we should have to kick and crawl to have a national inquiry, emergency, or funding. Because we've seen this model, and only time it gets attention when the level of missing or murdered people reaches a threshold where it's unacceptable. But if we're talking with history, and this is the terrible part of what I'm going to say, is if we wanted to become a true national emergency to the point where the politicians are taking note because now it's going to affect their standings, we're going to have a critical mass of missing and murdered Black Canadians. And that's the frightening part, to know that that's what it's going to take. Because we just have to look what's happening in the First Nations community. That's the only way it became a national issue. And that's even after successive governments, whether it be liberal or conservative, declined to make this a national issue. So what we're doing is we're hoping to avoid that critical mass from ever happening. Because we're doing this because we don't want erasure. And if we are going to depend on a system that's not actually set up to properly fund communities, never mind Black communities or organizations that are not non-for-profit, then we're in trouble. So for all our government officials, change how you do things. And know that you're elected for a reason, and you can only do so many press releases and public awareness campaigns before people say, okay, what did you really do? So that's what I would say to government.
Emma, anything to add on that?
I mean, truer words. Look, I hate to sound cliche, but our Black lives matter. So, especially as we're talking about young people, when we're no longer above ground, they're the ones that are going to be forging on, right? So, seeing so many going missing, and whether or not some of them fall in that category, with funding, we would be able to create safe spaces for these young people, create spaces where they can be educated on how to, get good jobs, manage their finances, and things that, important things that they need to learn and know so that they can navigate through life, and information and tools to be able to deal with situations like somebody trying to lure them, or all of those things. I think with funding, us as a community can offer all of these safe spaces and things for our young people, and even for older people that are missing. Whatever the case is, with funding, we can do so much for our community that they won't do. So to Donovan's point is, change the way that you are dealing with our situation as a community and our plight. Definitely need to change the way you're dealing and treat it with the same level of urgency that you would any other community. Like, keep that same energy. Our lives matter.
One other additional thing just came to my alleged mind. What is your message to Black Canadians?
Stay.
If you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Be involved. Stay involved.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would just add to that is stay active in your community. Trust your community. You have to trust your community and just be aware. Just really be aware of situation, and just stay involved in what's going on locally. And don't worry about the national level, because if you stay involved what's happening locally, you'll get an understanding of what's going on around you, and you'll be able to keep yourself safe. Um, Live to see. It's a cliche, but live to see another day. Just be aware, be involved in your community. Just generally, just try to do good, right?
Keep your head on swivel. There was one post that I had put of a young girl who went missing, and she had very identifiable tattoos on her face. And a woman commented on it and said to me, you know what? I saw her, and she was walking with a man, and she didn't look good. And in my mind, I felt something was wrong. So here's an example of, you see something and you're looking at it and it doesn't look right. Take action and not just have it as a passing thought, So that's why I say, if we see something, even if it ends up being nothing, but something in her mind, in her soul, told her it wasn't right. So there are often times where we may see something, it doesn't look right, and we will brush it off. And then we may see something on the news and be like, oh my gosh, I saw this person. So that's why I say the importance of, if you see something and it doesn't look right, it doesn't smell right, it probably likely doesn't. So say something. Let's be the auntie and uncle next door to our missing people, our missing community.
Act on your intuition. All right.
Yeah.
Final comments here. Bubble says, yes, no doubt. Also, Hayden says, if this happens in any other community, would the response be similar? If not, how would it be treated? And Bubble says, unite. All right. I think we've had an epic conversation here today, family. First things first, I want to thank both of you for taking the most important thing, your time to hang out with us today. I know, Emma, I thought you were only going to be with us an hour. You're here for the whole ride. So we want to say thank you for that. And
thank you.
Yeah. And if people want to get a hold of the Daily Scrum News, here's how you do it, right? There's a website and there is the email address. If you're watching any of the platforms that I'm a part of or I drive, it's in the comments section. What's next for the Daily Scrum News? And obviously what's next for Emma too, because Emma's everywhere. Should be Emma is everywhere. Maybe this is a new show on the Daily Scrum. Emma is everywhere.
Emma, you could go first, I guess. Ladies first.
Well, what's next for me is I will be filming, because the news never stops in our community. So I usually put out 15 reports a week.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of filming to do today. And I have some pieces that I'm writing for the Daily Scrum News that I will be putting up. Donovan, stay tuned for those. And I'm also going to record a story on my channel as well in regards to this. So I will be filming that at some point today or tomorrow as well. And just for me, it's just going to continue to just keep pumping that news out and exposing what's going on against our community, one story at a time.
And what is your channel?
So it's African Diaspora News Channel.
Okay. Let me just see if I can find it quickly here and put it up. It's on YouTube?
Yes, on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, let me just do, if I can do a real African. Okay. And Don, what's coming up with the Daily Scrum? There's always things going on there.
So first of all, sincerely thank you for hosting us.
My pleasure.
And thank you, amazing. tuning in and offering such great insight and great questions. So it's always heartwarming to see a platform like yours. You've been very instrumental in our community, in the fact that people are continuing to give their generous time. So thank you, a million thank yous. For us, there's so many things happening on the digital side. Again, most people see us as a news, but we're really a tech platform. Behind the scenes is some amazing things. We are just about to roll out a really new feature called TDS News Sound Labs, where we're now going to be able to produce high quality professional audio in specifically in the forms of music, where people could connect with us and say, we want this type of music, this genre, or this jingle, and we'll be able to produce it in real time in minutes. So it's a lot of really cool stuff we're rolling out. It's called the TDS News Sound Labs. So if you are a person, you want just the most amazing song, music, jingle, we're rolling it out. So that's just another little thing we've had in the works for some time. But other than that, we're just trying to do good, and there's a million things always happening, but we're just trying to report the news and keep it positive when it comes to the Black community, or at least giving a fair coverage of how we do things and how our community is portrayed.
Fantastic. Well,
and my other channel, sorry, real quick, is Emma Ansah Unfiltered.
Is that YouTube also?
Yes, YouTube also.
As I said, when do you sleep?
Well,
really?
You know that ripe old saying, you never work a day in your life when you do what you love?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now.
All right.
So, but I do make a point to rest because I don't want to look tired.
Yeah, we don't want you. We don't want you tired.
No, and with media journalism, you're on camera, so you gotta get your beauty rest.
You gotta look good, and okay. So I'm just seeing if I can do this right quick in real time to give the YouTube channel address, because it seems that people want to find out. So Dr. Tachi says, thank you both for the conversation. And also says, then fantastic. She's looking at the site right now, which is the African Diaspora one. I'm going to put up the other one here in real time for people to subscribe to also. And I've been having some conversation. Our last conversation I had with Mr. D, I said, would love to have people come on once a month or whenever they can on this platform and share their journeys and content. And that's also the invitation is for you also, Emma. And you have a home here.
Thank you. I absolutely anytime. Anytime.
Well, you're everywhere as it is, anyways. I don't know if there's any place you haven't conquered yet.
I will always make the time for you.
Well, be careful what you ask for, because I say you got something. And with Emma, I don't want to hear anything. I'm not working on anything. I'm not going to hear that.
Oh, you will never hear that.
All right. So I'm just going to see if I can do it in real time, Emma's other channel, to put it on the screen so people have a look at that. And then we will call it a conversation. I really got to know when Emma sleeps, because I'm not convinced you do. Just, I know you're playing a good game with me. So that's all right.
I really do shut it down at like 11 is my hard stop. And then I have a young dog that wakes me up at like 5, and she's got to go out. So I make a point of I gotta take her out, so make a point of getting that rest. It's important though. It's really important for your overall well-being, right? And then also I'm really mindful about what I put in my body. I have my guilty pleasures, but I'm really mindful about all of the good herbs and fruits and vegetables, and staying hydrated, staying active. So, all of that is right. You saw mine.
Yes, I
There
saw
you
you.
go. At least 2 of these a day, at least. So yeah, it's a 40 ouncer. Exactly. So yes, it's super important. So it's overall just really taking care of yourself so that we can continue to do what we do.
Well, take care of ourselves so we can take care of others. There you go. All right. So for both you, as always, I'd like to say thank you. I'm excited to having you on more on the platform.
Absolutely.
And I would say, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace.
Awesome. Well said, Dr. Vibe. Emma, always we'll talk.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much for having me again. And I'm sure I shall see you again soon.
More to come. Be well and keep the faith.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody. All right, family. That was an epic conversation. And I know Donovan made the time to stay long, but I also want to appreciate Emma for staying the extra length because she was supposed to be away 50 minutes ago, family. Hello. And you know she's not bored, right? She'd rather be dead than bored, right? So she's got that going on. She's saying that yes in the green room. All right, let's do some housework before we get out of here. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We'd like to get to some more subscribers by Friday. Let's hit 1,820. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe@vibeshow.com or click on the link you see on the screen or in your comments on most of the places where you're watching this live on the replay. To advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please email me dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. If you want to touch base with Ryan Knight, Ryan O'Neill Knight, and that's with an KN, not an N.com. LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight. Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. And then email workwithme at RyanO'NeillKnight.com. And then myself, the Dr. Vibe Show website, the THDRVIBESHOW.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the Dr. Vibe Show, X at DRVIBESHOW. Wanted to put the in front there, but no, it isn't. And then email address dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. You can also catch me on Substack at drvibe.substack.com/subscribe, and then on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. That is it. Woo! This was a show today. Come on now. Want to say thank you for everybody who made this an epic conversation, whether you were watching it live on the replay. We'll be back on Friday with some more epic conversations. Don't know what yet, but it'll be epic no matter what. So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. And if there's someone missing you feel, talk about it, report it. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good. Bye.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.